I have a strange visitor. The next morning, when the tide was at its lowest, I swam out to the ship again. There were still many things on board of it that might be useful to me in my island home. I wished to save all that I could. I climbed up the ship's side just as I had done the day before. Before looking for anything, I made another raft, just like the first one, but smaller. It was not so easy to make, for I had used up all the best planks. It was neither so large nor so strong as the first raft. In the carpenter's shop I found 3 bags of nails and a grindstone. I found also a box full of little hatchets and a small barrel of musket balls. In the captain's room I found 6 or 7 guns, which I had overlooked before, and another keg of powder. All these things I loaded with much care upon my raft. Then I gathered up as many clothes as I could find, also a spare sail, a hammock, and some bedding. The raft was now quite full. The things were not heavy, but they made a large pile. When the tide turned for the shore, I cut loose and was soon floating homeward. I had found a good oar in the ship. This I used as a paddle, and I had no trouble in guiding the raft to the right landing place. I looked to see if the goods were safe which I brought over the day before. There, on one of my chests, I saw a strange animal sitting. She looked like a wild cat. As I went toward her, she jumped down and ran a little way. Then she stood still. I followed. She stood very firm and looked in my face. She looked as though she had a mind to get acquainted. I pointed my gun at her and shouted, but she did not care for that. I had a bit of biscuit in my pocket. This I now tossed toward her. "Take this and begone," I shouted. It rolled quite close to her nose. She smelled of it and ate it. Then she looked up for more. "Thank you, I have no more to give you," I said. Whether she understood me I do not know, but with that she turned and marched away. I now set to work to get my second cargo on shore. It was no easy task, and I had to make many trips to and from the raft. When everything was safely landed, I made me a little tent with a sail and some poles that I cut. Then I put everything into the tent that needed to be kept dry. The empty boxes I piled outside. They made a kind of wall around the tent, like the wall of a fort. "This will keep the wild beasts out," I said. By this time the day was nearly done. I spread one of the beds on the ground. I laid 2 loaded pistols near its head, and one of the guns by one side of it. Then I crept in and was soon fast asleep.